it's Samhita. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit shorter. We're going to be talking about types of people in your inner circle. It's okay to take a step back from and cut off, if necessary, from your life. We live in such an insecure time where everyone is always seeking out something that someone else has. Everyone's value is determined by such external factors that do not define who we are. There's so much materialism, so much greed, so much hierarchy in the world. There's a lot of insecurity going around. There's a lot of judgment. There's a lot of unnecessary division going around. And in times like this, when there are people in your inner circle who do not contribute to your mental well-being, your confidence with yourself, your love with yourself and others, who do not recognize the subtler, more important aspects of life, I think it's okay to distance yourself from them. These are the kind of people who often need love and compassion themselves, but it isn't always our duty to endure what they give us and put up with behavior that isn't healthy and okay to keep in our lives. Number one, people who pull you down to feel better about themselves. You will always find people in your inner circle while growing up, when you shift from your teens to your early 20s, that are not okay with you growing per se. And by this, it could mean anything. They're not okay with you gaining more recognition in the world as who you are, or they're not okay with you being more financially secure than them, or they're not okay with you having a job that is very demanding. They're not okay seeing you grow because it makes them feel insecure. Now, a lot of people who operate from a place of insecurity, it's all rooted in not knowing the self, not having enough secure connections, friendships, spiritual understanding, and with lack of spirituality comes the lack of self-knowledge. With the lack of self-knowledge comes the inability to see the beauty in oneself, and that directly results in the inability to see the beauty in others. The only thing you can perceive is conventional standards in beauty, and it becomes very mechanical. Essentially, insecurity is something that is a huge topic that if I get into it, I'll have to talk about attachment styles. I'll have to talk about inculcating spirituality when people are young. I'll have to talk about a lot of things, and it is not something to be condemned for. Everyone has insecurities. Even the most secure people go through phases where they don't feel secure. I have insecurities too. We all have insecurities, but it's about how you deal with them, how you process them, and what healthy ways you can acknowledge them and then release them. Insecurities do not have to contribute to how we behave with other people. They do not have to contribute to us giving up on our values or our higher selves taking a back seat. Insecurities exist to show us where we feel like we could work a little harder, work a little more in order for us to feel less insecure about something. They also exist just to tell us that, hey, we're not perfect, and to humble us and bring in that humility and allow us to find and learn how to accept ourselves and others. Insecurity can teach us a lot. It can teach us different ways by which to build our confidence. When we're feeling insecure, I think you can tap into that and learn so much from that. I don't think it's something to feel ashamed about. Everyone feels insecure about something or the other. Having said that, it's not always your job to carry other people's insecurities. There will be people who will want you to dim your shine in order for you to make them feel more comfortable in their lives, in their insecurities, but that is not your job. There have been a lot of instances where people are not okay with me embodying my highest self, and it irritates them, and it makes them want to put me down, or makes them want to criticize me. It makes them want to find faults in me. And people's opinions change. They change with time. They change with experiences. And usually people who are consistent in their insecurity with themselves, with life, when they're identifying themselves with things that they should not identify themselves with, this insecurity becomes a constant. But sometimes it's in their blind spot. They don't even realize, it's masked with confidence. And this confidence is just there as a mask, but it's not really gone into the deep layers of their being, where their subconscious has and is housing all their little insecurities that they developed over the years. So sometimes what happens is, when people act from an insecure place, they are not okay with your security with yourself, or you embodying your security with yourself. throws them off. It makes them feel like I don't have this, and that makes them feel jealous, it makes them feel uncomfortable. So what do? They find faults in you, they put you down, they judge you, they criticize you, they hold on to judgment. The more persistent their insecurities, the stronger their judgments are against you. Usually extremely insecure people are the people that judge others the most. So one, as much as you can have compassion for these people and understand where they're coming from and how they do not have a healthy way to deal with their insecurities, or even process them, or even acknowledge them, or even discuss them, friendships that see you beyond those limitations of your own mind. Usually what happens is these people kind of thrive off of putting you down. I guess it's okay if it's momentary, like if they do it out of the blue and then later on they realize and they apologize for it, or they recognize that, hey, I think I'm doing this. If they're accountable and they own up to it, okay, cool. But if it's a pattern, if you keep seeing them putting you down for different things, and sometimes worse, like they'll play it off as a joke, they'll say something really mean about you, and then they'll just laugh it off and be like, I was just kidding, you don't have a sense of humor. And they don't even acknowledge it, and they don't even like realize it. But if you were to do the same thing to them, they wouldn't be able to take it. So recognize that these are the people who need to deal with their things, need to deal with their issues, need to deal with themselves. If it's pulling you down in a way where it's affecting your confidence and your sense of self, and you feel demotivated by these people, you feel like who you are is tainted with their negative perception of you, these are not people who are going to contribute to your mental well-being and your mental health. These are not people that you want in your life. As much as you love them, you need to cut them loose. You need to say, hey, I think, this friendship has gotten a little overwhelming for me, and I really wish you well. I really hope that, you find everything that you want to, and you become everything that you want to be. But I just feel like it's not working out for me. It's okay to say that. It's okay to draw that boundary, because, like, I know it's hard, especially with people who've been around for a while, but like once you do, you're going to feel so much lighter, and you're going to allow life to show you how wrong they were. And right and wrong is subjective. They're probably going to like justify everything that they said and did in their minds that they were right, and they don't want to be wrong, because being wrong would mean confronting their insecurities, confronting parts of themselves that do these things from an insecure place, and that sort of operate from insecurity and a negative ego mechanism. So yeah, do not expect these people to change overnight. They might not, but like if it's something that's affecting you, it makes a lot of sense to cut them loose. My second point is energy. Again, I say energy a lot. It's about where you are in your life energetically and where they are. A lot of times, if you're operating on a higher frequency, lower frequency people, as in people who are not on the same wavelength as you, will misinterpret you. They'll have the most bizarre explanations for your natural instincts, natural behaviors. Something that may genuinely come from a place of love for you might be perceived as something that has an ulterior motive behind it to them. So people on different energetic wavelengths perceive things differently. Essentially, even with music, for example, like when you're operating on higher energy, you perceive music differently. When you're operating on lower energy, the kind of music you're attracted to is different. Also depends on what kind of energy you're embodying. The more you're connected to your lower chakras, the more drums will be appealing to you. The more you're connected to higher chakras, flutes and like strings. I will really save this for a different video. But how we perceive things is a direct reflection of the energy that we carry. So if someone has a very negative perception of very innocent things that you do, a very negative perception of things that come naturally to you, like loving people, being kind, if they have like a distorted view about that, or they make a judgment about how you lead your life essentially, and they're not able to accept you the way you are, and your very being irritates them, chances are that they're on a different energetic wavelength. Also, a way to gauge energy is that people who make you feel uncomfortable and anxious and judged with your mere presence. I've had really close friends that I feel really anxious around solely because I feel like I need to be a certain way in order for them to stay approving of me, because they bring up issues that are things about me that I cannot change, and they fail to accept that. And every time I try to mold myself in ways that cater to them, it is unnatural for me. So that creates a sense of anxiety because it doesn't come naturally to me. So if I deviate from what comes naturally to me, that would not be acceptable to them, and that puts me in a state of anxiety. So people who don't make you feel like you're valid, you're accepted, you're celebrated, and make you feel constantly like you're criticized, like they're criticizing you, or internally they're just in non-acceptance of you, or they just think of you in a way that you don't deserve to be thought about. You can feel it. You can feel that energy from people when they give you energy that you don't deserve. These people often make you feel really unsettled in your being, and unfortunately there are a lot of close friends who do become the source of that unsettledness in everyone's life. What you can do with these people, you don't have to have them be a part of your day-to-day life, but you can check in with them once a while. But it's healthy to keep like a healthy distance from these people, because if they're on different energetic wavelengths from you, then you're not going to be allowed to be in your lane, your energy. You're not going to be able to embody your energy without them saying something about it that you don't deserve to hear, without them perceiving it wrongly, without them having distorted views about it. Let them be in their space, you be in your space. Whenever you feel energetically unsettled around someone, it's probably time to question if they're a safe space for you, because often if you're not feeling safe in your being and you feel anxious around somebody, that's a sign that, you know, they're not good for you as a friend. So yeah, it is sad, but like, what are you gonna do? Number 3, respectful communication. It is important for us to seek out constructive criticism, and it is important to have friends that have different opinions on things. It is important to have friends that have different outlooks, perceptions, and opinions than you. That gives you a broader perspective on life, that gives you something to debate about, something new and different to understand. So it's good to take constructive criticism from different sources that perceive different things about you or your work or what you do. However, there's a difference between constructive criticism and destructive criticism. Constructive criticism comes from a place of telling you what you did wrong and where you could be better, and giving you solutions. Also being very respectful while they do that, and being understanding of you as a person. Constructive criticism, what happens is, before they blatantly make a judgment, they sometimes might ask you, what was your thought process behind doing this? So what did you feel? What did you think? Where did this come from? Okay, I see. I understand that this particular action or decision came from this place for you, but here's where I see a flaw, and here's where I think you can be better, and here's why. That is constructive criticism, giving you understanding and a space to feel accepted and the opportunity for growth, and perceiving your ability for growth. Now, destructive criticism just blatantly puts you down. And your friends are not your critics. Your friends are people who are your well-wishers. So if they're going to tear down your confidence, limit you to a judgment, if you're not able to take their disrespect in the form of criticism, and if you're not able to take their 2 cents and their judgment or their disrespect, which they call criticism, and you don't feel comfortable taking it, you don't feel settled while they give you criticism, if they label you as someone who cannot handle criticism, that's not okay. That's really not okay, because criticism should be something that helps you grow, that makes you feel like you have the ability and capacity to grow. The sole purpose of criticism is improvement. If they're just going to limit you to something and make you feel like you cannot improve in that area, and hold you to a judgment that they made, have that as a permanent character trait about you in their heads, these are not people who you're going to feel seen by. These are not people who are going to make you feel understood or make you feel safe. And what happens around people you don't feel safe around is, you cannot express all parts of your personality. All parts of you cannot be shared with them. Only parts of you that you feel like they are comfortable around come to the surface. And this happens so many times where I cannot embody my full self, and I have to always play a dumbed down or dimmed down version of me, solely because I know embodying my true self is going to make the other person uncomfortable. The only way I can make them feel comfortable is if I'm perceived by them to be lesser than them, which is something that I've recently noticed and realized, solely because you don't feel safe around them. You don't feel safe to embody your complete self, because you can tell when there's the energy of judgment, the energy of non-acceptance, and that's not a connection that is going to serve you or going to make you feel good. Those connections always drain you of your love and energy, and your love is not celebrated with these people. It's not everybody can understand you, but I wouldn't expect to be misunderstood drastically by people I care about, which is something that is not okay, because these are the people you listen to, and if they have misunderstood, misconstrued notions about you, and they feed that to you, that can lead to a lot of self-doubt, which you do not need on your journey of like learning, growing, and discovering yourself. You do not need people who contribute to your self-doubt. So yeah, that's it for today. I hope you like this video. Leave a comment below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, and I will see you next time.